Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Ask Me Anything event. For those of you who joined our first AMA, you already know our event's purpose, which is to serve and support our international community and to help you understand American culture better, as well as create a strong virtual community where you can get your question answered and make your voices heard. It's great to have you all here. Some of you, I know, Zhi Yifan, Congcong Lu, and we're just going to have a conversation today as well at the end. I hope your new semester is going on well so far. For those who don't know me, my name is Ginger Lee. I'm the acting director at the USC Price School Global Engagement Office. I'm also part of our student affairs team. I encourage you to watch the video recording of our first Ask Me Anything event. In our first AMA, I explained who we are, how we are going to build a strong international community, and how you can contribute and become an active player to build the community collectively. Please feel free to leave your name and email address in our chat box. We will make sure you have the access to the recording of our first AMA. Today, we're very pleased to invite my colleague Thomas from Price Career Services to join us. Thomas will share with you the programs our career services team has put together for you to prepare for your job search. In the past couple of weeks, I had the opportunity to talk with Thomas and also another colleague, and then I know that they have been putting together amazing and wonderful programs that serve our students to help you to navigate your career search. In addition to Thomas, we have Ada and Ziyu from my team. Welcome, everyone. I want to say let's do a quick round of introduction by answering some of icebreaker questions here. When it's your turn, I hope you can turn on your camera. And also please share with us. I put all these questions also in the chat box. So anyone wanted to volunteer? If not, I'm going to call everyone's name now. Okay, Zhi, would you like to share with us and who you are? What's your major? Where are you located now? How have your first 3 weeks of school been? And also, what did you do this long weekend? If you are able to travel, where would be your first destination?
Hello, everyone. My name is Zhi Yifan, and my major is MPA. I'm currently in China, in mainland China, in Shandong province. And about my first 3 weeks, I think I feel a bit stressful because we have a lot of assignment, like readings, like other things that makes me feel very nervous and stressful. And we have also have a lot of discussion.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's really hard for me, I think. And for my long weekend, I think I spent a lot of time reading do a lot of readings. Yes. The last question, if I are able to travel, my first destination, I think I will go to Japan, maybe, because I went there for one time, but I feel like it's a really good place, like Tokyo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really like the food and their native culture, maybe that sort of thing.
Very good. Thank you. Zhi, I saw Congcong, you turn on your camera. What about you next?
Sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Congcong Lu, and my major is MHA. And then I'm now in China, Henan province. And my first 3 weeks, I feel a lot of pressure. So I did my degree, bachelor degree in Australia. I think the teaching methods are quite different. And then in USA, there are lots of small tasks, assignments to do. And then I feel lots of pressure here. And this long weekend, I just did the assignments and tried to complete them, all of them.
Well, good.
If I'm able to travel, of course, going to Los Angeles, next destination. Yeah.
We're waiting for you.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Cong Cong. The next one is Beijia. Beijia, if you can turn on your camera, please feel free to do so.
Sorry, I can't for now.
That's fine. It's okay. We can hear you.
Okay. My name is Du Beijia, and my major is I'm first year MPP student, and I'm not currently in LA. I'm living in Nanjing in Jiangsu province, and my first 3 weeks of school has been a little bit stressful because there's so many readings and assignments, and I haven't get used to use some technology like data to do some kind of data analysis, and it's very stressful for me. And what did you do this long weekend? I just stayed at home and do the homework, and I spend some time to go to the gym to exercise. Yeah. And if I'm able to travel, what would you be my first destination? I'll choose to travel to Japan too, because I have been there like 5 times, but it's very beautiful, and I have so many places that I haven't explored, and I'm really excited to go there next time. Yeah.
Very good. We have all our students today here. And then what about Ziyu? Ziyu is our student worker in my office. You want to share with us who you are and then what you did this weekend?
Hi, everyone. My name is Ziyu, and I'm the currently second year graduate student in USC Edinburgh, and my major is communication management. And I currently stay in the Las Vegas, and I'll back to Los Angeles tomorrow because I'm travel here. And before I came to US, I've been working in China for 2 years. In state-owned company, and yes, that's it for me.
Very good. What about Ada?
Hello, everyone. As most of you might have already known me, my name is Ada, and I work for Ginger Global Engagement Office. I'm also MPA alumna. I'm currently located in LA, actually right by campus. I still go for campus for a walk. What I did for the long weekend, I did a lot. I had several friends coming to visit from Arizona, from NorCal. So like I've been hanging out with friends. And if I'm able to travel, I want to go back to Australia. Cong Cong said you did your undergrad in Australia, right? I'm so jealous. I got to visit Australia right before the COVID hit, and I always want to go back. It's so beautiful there.
Very good. Thank you, Ada. What about Thomas?
Let's see. I'm Thomas Ng. My major, let's see, I have a master's in Master's of Science in College Counseling and Student Development. My undergrad was a Bachelor of Science in Social Sciences with a focus in history. Currently, I'm 25 miles away from LA. So I'm in a city called Covina, a bit east of LA. Normally, it takes me like an hour and a half to drive in. First 3 weeks of school has been pretty busy. I've been trying to launch some programming for our students, and just kind of switching everything over to online has been keeping us pretty busy. This past weekend, we didn't actually do anything. There's fires going on up in the mountains, and so our whole area, like we're actually really close to the mountains, and so the whole area is completely
San Bernardino, right? San Bernardino.
That fire, there's 2 fires. One's in the San Gabriel Valley.
Okay.
So there's one that's encroaching on like past the foothills within Pasadena, Altadena.
Yes.
That area all the way to Azusa, which is where I'm close by to. So we didn't do anything. We stayed inside. I have a 3-year-old daughter who's just bouncing off the walls because she can't go outside and run off her energy. We just stayed inside. We ate a lot of good food. Didn't do much. If I was able to travel, where would I? first destination. Hawaii. We were supposed to go to Hawaii this summer, but then our plans got canceled. So we'll try again next year, I guess.
Beautiful. I'm going to spend a little bit of time again to kind of answer those questions as well. So my name is Ginger Lee. My major, I graduated from an MPA program about 11 years ago. And then 2 years ago, I got my degree in education leadership from Rossier with a concentration in psychology. I'm currently actually located in the Bay Area. First 3 weeks of school, it has been very, very busy. Ada, Ziyu, and I, and together with my colleagues from Student Affairs Office, we have been working diligently, putting together programs for you guys. But I'm very glad, everyone got engaged, and then we are able to collect some, questions from you guys as well. That's why today we are able to focus on two major important things. One is career service. The other one is how to kind of read your academic readings effectively, right, efficiently. A lot of you have mentioned about, we have been very stressful because of the reading heavy load. And also on the other hand, probably you're thinking about the future, right? We're very pleased to have Thomas here today. If I'm able to travel, and then where would be my first destination? I'm thinking about Lake Tahoe. Tahoe is a beautiful place. I think the lake there, right, is so crispy clear, and then compared to the weathers these days, it's just a very huge contrast. I'm hoping everyone is stay, healthy and also safe, and hopefully to see everyone in person soon in Los Angeles. All right, then we're gonna move to the next slide. We're talking about school's mission. It's really, our school's mission is to improve the quality of people life for people and their communities worldwide. I indicated this in our first AMA session, and I want to emphasize it again and share with you our values. The Price School values international initiatives and cares about our international students. Today's event is part of that process. Our goal is to make sure you feel comfortable and welcome, participating in every Price enrichment activity as often as you can. And down the road, we hope you will become a student leader, heading one of our student organizations and become one of our Price ambassadors. Some of you probably already applied for the Price ambassadors. I'm very proud of you, and hopefully you can do really good things. Our other goal is to build a strong community where you as an international student can receive encouragement and increase your self-efficacy. We understand it is difficult to adjust to a new environment and online model during such difficult times. I want to let you know that you are not alone on this journey. Some of you have expressed interest in learning more about job searching strategies and internship opportunities. Some of you, again, shared with us your overwhelmed homework and reading assignments. I hope today's AMA can offer you some useful and valuable information. The next slide is really kind of Thomas, your expertise. We're going to talk about Price Career Services, what kind of programs they have provided and putting together. And Thomas is here to answer some of the questions you may have. Thomas, go ahead, please.
Oh, yeah, sure. So this is our fall 2020 programming and services. The one thing that I'm going to start with is that you are able to make appointments with us for one-on-one appointments for 30 minutes through PriceNet. And so if you haven't logged into PriceNet before, it's accessible through our career services website. And it's right in the front page, really. It says student login. When you log into PriceNet, you can search for jobs and internships. You can make an appointment, and it also has access to our career resource library. But if you have any sort of questions regarding your career, if you have any just thoughts surrounding, hey, I'm not exactly sure what I can do with my degree, or I know exactly what I want to do with my degree, but I'm not sure how to get to that specific type of job or role, those are things that we can kind of investigate and research together and kind of figure out how your career paths can go. So that's the one thing that I want to make sure that everybody knows that they have access to. One of the things that we're also trying to figure out is how to provide our students who are currently abroad with some time to meet with us at a regular hour. And so we know that there's a time difference. And so part of the survey that we asked Ginger's team to put on, I think, is to ask around what time are you most available, because we do want to make sure that these services are accessible by all of our students. So it says drop-in hours, but we've actually named the program now. So instead of just drop-in hours, it's a career, Price's Career Lounge. So every week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Wednesdays, it's from 11 to 1. Fridays is from 11 to 1. Thursdays is 4 to 6. So today, Valerie was on staff. She's in a Zoom meeting for any student to just pop in and ask whatever questions they want. It's kind of like AMA, just any questions that you might have, you can pop in and ask those questions. So I'll be emailing out once a week with a link on how to access that meeting, and it'll also let you know who's on staff at what time. So, for instance, even Dom and Seta, who are our associate directors for employer relations, they typically don't have one-on-one appointments available, but they will be accessible during drop-in hours. And that's kind of exciting because you might be able to ask them specific questions about employers who are in the public, private, or nonprofit sectors. They all have their focuses and the employers that they work with. And I'll be emailing all of that out at least once a week so that I can make sure that everybody knows that there's a rotating group of staff members staffing that drop-in time. So that's the Price Career Lounge. One of the new programs that I'm running is, well, one of the things I've noticed is that because we're all apart, it's much harder to kind of turn around in the middle. You show up to class early, you turn around and you get to have a quick conversation. Hey, what have you been up to? What did you do? Did you just come back from an internship? And have those types of conversations. And that's how a lot of how we learn about careers is really brief, is really informal. And I wanted to provide students with some of that type of experience done online. So by being deliberate, my goal is to start 4 or 5 success teams. Then these are small teams who want to do a job search together, a job search or an internship search. So these teams are grouped by either industry interests, sector interests, maybe they're by what program you're in. If you're an international student, they might have a success team as well. But the whole idea is that we get to leverage each other as resources, and the fact that we don't have to do this by ourselves. There's no reason that you have to do a job search by yourself. What if we had other supporters who are supporting us, providing us with resources, and we're all working together to figure out how to find you your first position out of the program. So I'll be sending an email out, I think Sunday, along with our newsletter that has an application process to this. It's very short, just a questionnaire and a quick question of why you want to be a part of this program. But the success team allows you to not have to do a job search together alone, and you get to do a job search together. And you get to meet with me for 6 meetings over 3 months. So I'm going to be guiding the conversation and guiding these groups to make sure that everybody's on track and making sure that everybody is diligent in supporting each other. It's a new program, super excited about it. Hopefully I'll see all of you applying to that as well. There's something called the Insight Series. So tonight there was one where that should have just ended. I don't know if any of you were just there. It was from 4 to 4:45 tonight. And we have our alumni coming back. And these are alumni who are maybe one phase immediately out of grad school. So they're recent graduates who are talking about their experiences in whatever sector, whatever industry they're in. So this one was a recent grad. I think she graduated 2019. And now she's a consultant, a public service consultant for Deloitte. And so she just stopped in to tell her story about her experience. It's like the perfect next step information for our students. So that's what the Insight series is. So anytime you see emails about Insight series, it's going to be someone fairly new talking about their experience. The Virtually Speaking program, it's a focused networking event. It allows you to actually meet with employers and other professionals in a virtual environment. So every year we put on a fall networking night, which allows our students and alumni to just kind of meet. But since we can't meet in person, we do have software that will help facilitate our students having time to meet with our professionals. So be on the lookout for emails about that. It should be happening mid-fall. We do have a DC virtual trek. If anybody's interested in working or doing anything in Washington, DC, the trek is going to be mid-fall, but there's that's the PMF thing. So the trek is going to be mid-fall, where we've partnered with a lot of other public policy programs all over the US and leveraged all of our contacts to be able to have meetings with a lot of different employers, professionals, all specializing in Washington, DC. We do have employers coming by all the time, so be on the lookout for emails about that. If there's anything of interest, make sure you either show up to the event or at the very least watch the recording and then make a plan to follow up with the professional, saying that, hey, I wasn't able to attend, I was able to watch your presentation, I have a couple of questions, was wondering, and you can start a conversation that way. It's super important because professional networking is the main way that our students are finding opportunities. The last thing I want to talk about as part of this sheet is the new career roadmaps and pathways. So you have access to something called the Career Resource Library. That's accessible through PriceNet, as well as you'll see it emailed out as a direct link every now and then as well. But that our Career Resource Library houses specific program career information, information just as straightforward as resume info, cover letter info, anything you might need for career planning, career development is going to be housed there. So we have roadmaps that might give you an idea of some of the things that you should be thinking about in regards to your program. You know, maybe that your first year MPP, well, here are some of the things that you should be thinking about. If you're a first year MPA, here are some of the things that you should be thinking about. And it will kind of work its way through the 2-year program. There's also career pathways, which are industry documents. So it talks about specific types of careers and just gives you lots of information on that. So currently, this is a growing database of information. Consider bookmarking it and coming back to that regularly, okay? That's about all I wanted to make sure that I went over here. I'm just open here to answer some questions if you have any.
Yeah, very good. Definitely we can open the floor to everyone who has a question specifically for this career kind of services and development. And then I'm also gonna share the result of the survey, right? Currently we have 20 students who have responded to our survey, asking more information about the job internship search. And then we also have students wanted to learn about identifying career options. If you haven't responded to the survey, I hope that you can contribute so we can collect more information we can share with our colleagues in the Price Career Service. Any questions regarding your career? No questions. That's not true. I'm pretty sure you guys have a lot of questions, right? Feel free, okay? So are you sure, you guys? Because I don't want to, take up Thomas too much time.
Well, one of the things I'm looking at this survey. One of the things that I do want to let you know is that you also have resources available to you through the main Career Center, and one of those resources is called Big Interview. So on Sunday we'll be emailing out a newsletter from Career Services, and it has resources on there. One of the resources that we'll link is Big Interview. And so if anybody's looking for interview practice, that's a very straightforward online system that allows you to practice interviewing. a couple of different things. It'll let you record yourself answering questions. And if you make an appointment with me afterwards, we can go over those recordings together and to talk about how to improve or what needs to be improved. Or, hey, maybe you're doing great. I'm always good. I'm always happy to provide encouragement as well. So that interview practice, one of the most straightforward things is that there's an online system available to you 24/7.
Very good. And Thomas, I have the next two slides, focusing about the China job opportunities, because, we understand some of the students from Asia, they may thinking about going back to their home country to look for job opportunities. And then just for everyone who is here today, and also we are recording this session, we will have a lot of kind of career workshops in China that's organized by USC China career offices. And then some of the virtual, let's say, information sessions about 500 big companies, and then they have coming back their employees, but also USC alumni. They share their kind of job opportunities and also their working experiences with everyone. Really, for those who are looking for jobs immediately after graduation, going back to China, right, your home country, I want to encourage you to really keep an eye on those whatever information out there. And then they have a WeChat channel as well you can follow. And then at the end of the session, we will have all these contact information. I see Cong Cong and then Beijia, you turn on the cameras. Do you have any questions for Thomas? Because today's session is really for our international students, right? I want to hope, you can seize all the opportunities and then have the direct conversation with Thomas. All right, Cong Cong is unmute.
I think because we just start our program and then be quiet, blank, like maybe we don't have the goals to what career we should achieve and then to pursue. So quite not sure yet.
Yeah, so that's actually one of the questions that we get the most. It's, hey, I'm just starting out and I'm not sure what careers I should be heading into, what areas I should be looking toward. That oftentimes takes us back to like we have 30 minutes in a one-on-one appointment. And so in those appointments, whenever a student comes up and asks that, we typically will start asking them and start back at the very beginning of why are you at Price? What are some of the goals that you wanted out of this kind of education? And then start kind of forming around that. The fact that you took a step toward a graduate program, investing money and time into this is telling us that you have a heavy interest in, ideally, it's the Price mission, which is to improve the communities across the world. And if that's oftentimes the start of our conversation about, well, what does that look like to you? What would that be if you could end up doing, if you could make improvements however you want, what might those improvements look like? And then understanding what your academics are about. So everybody's discipline's different. So that means that your toolkit will be different. What skills you bring will be different. That starts helping us narrow down the types of careers that you should start looking into. It by no means does that mean that that's exactly where you're going to end up, but it's a place to start looking and to start thinking about how to network and how to start maneuvering, building a professional network for yourself will look like for the next 2 years. Because it's a little different from your undergrad, right? Your undergrad, you have 4 years to kind of explore. When we only have 2 years, we do need to kind of start moving and figuring these things out pretty quickly. So for MPAs, there's a career roadmap on there. I highly recommend that you take a quick look at that. It's very general, but at the very least, it gives you an idea of some of the things that you should be doing during your first semester, your first year. The MPP one is still being approved by the department, so that'll be up very shortly. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Very good. Any other questions? If not, we are going to move to the next slide. Questions? No? Okay. So Thomas, the next section I'm going to talking about how to really kind of read and complete reading assignments efficiently.
Okay.
Feel free to stay if you have time, but if you don't have, thank you so much for joining us today. And by the way, we have another USC China Job Opportunity here if anyone is interested in kind of, L'Oreal, right? The cosmetic industry, the big company in the world, and then feel free, they have a kind of information sessions there, and I'm hoping that it can put on your to-do list if you're interested in that.
I did want to bring up one thing.
Yes.
For our international students who are thinking about OPT and finding opportunities stateside, at least for that 1 year, you have an extra burden where you have to kind of consider doing both a job search stateside as well as in your home country at the same time. So these types of opportunities are China Career Center, along with so you have so many resources. You have us as price specific career advisors. You have the main Career Center, which is also putting on lots of great events, things that are called Trojan Talks, that you should also kind of keep an eye out for. So if you follow their social media, or if you just go to their website and check out what Trojan Talks are being offered, they have large named, like KPMG was here. They took over their Instagram today, and they're kind of recruiting actively. That's how you get additional information on companies that us as a career center, as our career services within Price, we don't work with certain companies. And so you have a lot of opportunities to find certain companies and get information for what you're interested in, but you do have to kind of stay on top of all of this. So the fact that you have 3 career centers, it could be a bit much, but it's something that I think it shows that you have tons of resources at your fingertips if you just kind of reach out for them. You can also make an appointment with me to sort all this out.
Yeah. If I may add one more point, Thomas, for international students, although we are very pressured, right, to kind of figure out our time arrangements in terms of job searching, but I would also say because of this, right, we are more open to other sectors job opportunities, especially in the international, let's say, job market and the private sectors back in China. So a lot of job, opportunities shared by US China offices is actually the international companies, right? We do have some of Price students, alumni graduating, and then they are pursuing their career in those big private companies. I would say a lot of softer skills we have learned from the Price School can be applied to these big international companies. So this is critical and important.
Yeah, getting this kind of information from employers early helps. Yeah.
Or even secure an internship, right? I have another team member. She started searching internships in the summertime, in the springtime back in China, and then that helped her land the full-time job immediately after graduation. Ada know her, right? So really started thinking your future earlier. That's going to be very helpful.
But yeah, happy to talk about that one-on-one in an appointment. Or if you have like questions, you can also just stop by the Price Career Lounge. Time-wise, I think it makes the most sense for the one that's 4 to 6 p.m. on Thursdays. For any of you who are in China.
Perfect. Thank you again, Thomas.
You're welcome. Okay, bye everybody.
Bye-bye. All right, the next section, we're really going to talking about academic reading. When our team communicates with some of you recently, right, we received many comments about your heavy reading assignments. A lot of you expressed stress during the past 3 weeks, talking about, I have so much reading, I have so many reading assignments and then academic papers. I was in your shoes, to be honest, when I started my first semester at the price school. No matter how much time we spend on reading, we find it very difficult to fully understand it. Sometimes, although I did finish all the reading assignments, I had the feeling that I knew every word, but I didn't comprehend the article. Who is with me? Raise your hand. Everyone, right? Okay, so we share the same stories. You're not alone, I want to say, right? So let's face the reality, okay? In the first year of your academic journey, or even longer, the next several years, if you continue to pursue your academic, achievement here, it's going to happen. You can't finish all the reading assignments, okay? You probably will not be able to, let's say, complete each book chapter your instructors tell you to read, right? Does that mean we have to give up? Does that mean we can give up? That's a question mark. My answer is absolutely not, right? Because reading these papers often boost our understanding of the subject, regardless of your majors, whether you're an MPP student, MPA, MUP, or MHA student. The more you read, the wiser you will become. On the other spectrum, I would say, the more you read, the less you feel you know. Admit the reality that there's a lot of reading and don't feel guilty that you can't complete them all. So today, the strategy I really wanted to share with you is how can we be very strategic? And we need to find a way and a solution to extract the maximum amount of information with the least effort and time that we expended. Because this can help us do well at school, I want to share with you some of the tips that may be very beneficial to you. In this slide, you can see the structure of the academic paper, right? The first tip I want to say, reading the paper selectively. Academic papers, such as journal articles, empirical research articles, they follow a format. All the reading assignments that you receive, they're pretty much academic papers. No matter whether it's a qualitative or a quantitative research paper, the structure is similar to this. It starts with an abstract and an introduction. The body and the content, they include methods and a finding. It concludes with results and conclusion. Or sometimes in the papers, they said there's a discussion section. Do you have to read every word of the paper? Perhaps not. If you read every word, you will confuse yourself and you still cannot understand what's going on. So there are, several sections of a paper you should head to first. The abstract. The reason why I say so is because the introduction and the conclusion discussion will really give you a quick understanding of what the paper is about. And then you can grasp the paper's content, concepts, and ideas immediately. And then the conclusion can help you also decide if you want to spend more time reading other parts of the paper, such as methods and the findings, right? If some of you decided in the future of pursuing a PhD, a higher level kind of education, maybe the methods and the findings are helpful to you. But at this point, perhaps not, because the more that you read the methods and then findings part, probably you will, experience a lot of technical jargon during, your reading time. And then that will confuse you. And then you kind of pause there. You did a lot of dictionary search and trying to understand these kind of academic language. You will lose a lot of time for sure. So my kind of tips, right, sharing with you is reading the paper selectively for the introduction, for the conclusion, and then once you know what's the meaning there, and then you stop and then you move on. So this is tip 1. And then tip 2, let's talk about, paraphrase and then take notes. I'm pretty sure everyone, when you read, you take notes. This is very important. But when you take notes, don't forget to think. Don't forget to paraphrase what you have read, right? If you read several papers on the same topic, you can start to synthesize them. Okay, practice before the class to share what you have learned from the paper in the class. Make sure that you're ready for each class to speak up. This can improve your English proficiency and communication skills. Today, we're also going to talk a little bit about communication skills. But by paraphrasing the academic papers that you read, by taking notes, by preparing for your class, that really can help you to improve your English. Tip 3, read the syllabus and the reading assignments. This is so important, right? Making sure that you pick the ones that will be discussed in the next class. Perhaps some of the assignments, they help you understanding the topic. Maybe they will not be discussed in the class, right? This is how we can be very strategic. If you know that the paper or the chapter will be for sure discussed, and then your instructor told you, this is very important. You have to read this paper, making sure that you understand it, and then you move on. Tip 4, set your time for reading. A lot of us spending the weekends on reading and doing assignments, right? And then we find, okay, we still cannot finish it. I would say it is very important to set your time for reading. For example, you will tell yourself, I will finish all the reading assignments within X amount of hours. Within this time frame, you can focus and increase your reading speed. It's critical to remind yourself to plow right through the unknown world or term, right? As I just mentioned. If it's important, you would derive its meaning from the context. Make a list of each word that you don't understand for the selected section. This can increase your reading speed, pause, and then look up the meaning of the word only if you want to study this paper in depth. And then tip number 5, maybe some of you have done so, but if you did not have a chance to do so, please seek for help and form a study group to split the workload. Teammates can be in charge of the several papers and share notes with each other after you complete reading. Do you find it useful? Raise hands. Good? Okay. So we're going to talk about communication. Okay. Once you read the academic papers, right, reading all the assignments, the other job at the USC, at the private school, at your United States kind of academic journey is how to communicate yourself, right? A lot of time in a class, in the Zoom meeting, we don't know how to communicate ourselves. As an international student, adapting to a new set of cultural expectations and a social norm is hardly an easy transition. How do you make friends and establish your new social capital? I believe, communication is the key. Here are some tips. So tip number 1, really be prepared for each conversation you will develop. Spend some time every weekend to prepare for some conversation topics in English you can use when you are with American students and your professors, right? Set a goal for yourself stating that I'm going to share my thoughts in class every time to practice your communication skills. If I don't know what to say at class, then talk about the reading assignments for the week. If others speak before you and share the same opinions you have, then you think, oh man, I lost the opportunity, right? The next time you just tell yourself, say, okay, I will be the first one to raise my hands in the class and say what you have prepared in advance for the class. Good preparation can really improve your confidence and you know what to say. Even though you may get lost again in the remaining, of the class, at least you have grasped the valuable opportunity to practice your English. I would say the topics should not be only limited to academic topics, right? They can be relevant to your lifestyle and social life. Why? Because, coming to the United States, preparing for your journey in the United States, you will make friends, right? You want to improve your English communication skills. And how to kind of really develop the topics relevant to your lifestyle. For example, if you are in Los Angeles, if you went hiking this weekend at Griffith Park, be prepared to talk about Griffith Park in depth. If you are still in China, in your country, right, in your city, talking about, the nice part about your city, why you love about it, right? If you watch the Disney movie, for example, Mulan, this weekend, it was on, be prepared to talk more about why you like it and what you thought of the actors and what is the historical background. I think a lot of students here are from China, right? The story of Mulan is pretty much very deeply rooted in our heart. When you share with some of the experiences and the stories with your classmates, it's easy to share something that you know. If you also did some cardio workout this weekend, be prepared to share your workout experience at least for a minute or two. The more you practice constructing your knowledge and share with others, the more confident you will become. So it's a kind of long tip 1. And then tip 2 is making relevant connections while you are communicating. Communication, I find, the fundamental kind of key component is really finding a common topic when you are communicating with others. You can develop a good relationship. If I want to share, some good thoughts with Ziyu, for example, she is in Edinburgh school, right? We can talking a lot about communication skills. If I'm going to talk to Ada about something, Ada knows Spanish. If I know a little bit Spanish, probably I can relate to her more. So really, the common topics with your classmates can be the reading assignments and the group project. Making sure that you are valuable contribute to the group project instead of a free rider, right? We don't want to be a free rider. If you're well prepared for the class and then speak up every time, you will leave a positive impression. At USC, in your classroom, you will meet a lot of classmates with diverse backgrounds, and each of you will have unique experiences. Outside the classroom and in the social environment, if there's a chance that we can, be social again, right, after pandemic, you want to make the conversation fun and enjoyable. I'm pretty sure Ada can share a lot because she hang out with some of the students during the weekends, right? Telling a compelling and interesting story is a very effective form of communication because why? Stories enable us to express our feelings and thoughts in a memorable way. If you tell a story, someone's mind, they will have a picture appear, and then those visual kind of effect can help us remember the stories, the communications, the conversations we had with our friends. Tip 3, listen and show your empathy. We always say when you communicate, you have to listen to others, right? Be open to every minute of learning English. When you listen carefully to others speaking English, you learn from native speakers and you will pick up and choose the correct words to express yourselves. While listening, you're seeking the common topics and connections to further develop the relationship. If your friend is talking about a newly released movie, for example, we just talked about Mulan, right? Or complaining about reading assignments, you can nod your head to acknowledge their thoughts, then perhaps share your ideas and takeaways and useful tips, and then trying to develop more conversations the longer if you find it interesting and you find common connections between each other. Tip 4, I think it's very, very important, is to ask thoughtful questions. Why we have to ask questions? Because it's the way that we show, right, we are interested in the conversation. If you cannot understand what your friends are talking about, don't avoid further conversation. Just be honest and express, your kind of frustration, maybe, or just tell them, say, hey, excuse me, I'm not familiar with the topic. What is the newly released movie you just talked about? Or perhaps you can ask, what were the reading assignments you talked about? I don't remember. I can see in the syllabus, right? By asking those questions patiently and humbly, I think you will obtain more information. Ultimately, it's really helping us to develop the relationship with the friends that we have the conversation with, and also to help us to kind of improve our communication skills. Communication skills are also the other way we say, like, speak good English, right? No matter what, we have to overcome the way how we acquire, English as our second language. Transitions are stressful. However, if we feel that sense of achievement when communicating effectively with others, your mind and the behaviors definitely will change. You may be more open, want to explore new activities, and ultimately develop a strong network within your academic and social network. as Thomas just mentioned today, right? A lot of times job opportunities or even future career development opportunities are through like informal conversations. You have to reach out to, and then others have to reach out to you. And then once you have the conversations, you can get valuable information to lead to another, let's say, achievement or outcomes that you wanted to accomplish. Any questions? So we're gonna go to the next part, talking about our international student survey, right? We have more students, responded to our survey, talking about when you feel more suitable to join some of the events that we designed for you. If some of you still haven't had a chance to complete the survey, we encourage you to do that because we want to collect the data, and also we want to making sure that all the events that we developed for you are suitable to your schedule. And also, most importantly, right, we need to understand what are your concerns, what are your needs, and then perhaps we can, find some solutions and help you to overcome the challenges together. So Ada is putting together some of, responses from our survey and then just give you an idea. It only takes about 2 to 3 minutes to complete it. So if you haven't, please feel free to do that. Okay, the next one, we're gonna share some of the event announcement. In our office and in our student affairs office, there are 4 major events. First is my virtual office hour, right? Today's AMA is we are hoping we can have this session at least once a month. RSVP is required. This is kind of group or big event, right? But in addition, if you prefer to speak with me in person in a private environment, we have virtual office hour. It's every other week. We also have happy hour. Happy hour is not very structured, right? Everyone comes and then after academic readings or after your classes, we can gather together. We also have the WeChat group. Some of you guys responded to us. USC emails is the first kind of communication channel that you look for event information all the time. WeChat group, actually, according to that survey result, is ranked number 2. So we will still continue to have our WeChat group, and then we can have a WeChat group Q&A, group counseling there as well, if you find useful. And then we're going to go to the next slide, talking about other resources and event. This event has been shared by IPPAM. Okay, if you're an IPPAM student, you probably has already received this information. It's a virtual event organized by LA Area Chamber of Commerce. And then we have the organizer have invited some of the presidents of US Export-Import Bank, World Economic Forum, and also our mayor, LA Mayor Garcetti, is going to deliver a welcome speech. There is a registration fee, but it's discounted for our students. Yes, Yongqi, you have a question, right?
No, it's because I have class at 6, so I may have to leave earlier today.
Okay, that's fine. Do you have any questions for me or anything that you want to share with us before you leave?
And I actually have no questions so far, but I'm really appreciate this activity because it help us to convey many of our thoughts and our questions. And Good. If we have this kind of AMA activity next time, I will absolutely join again.
Perfect. We will continue because the positive feedback, help us to really prioritize our energy on different events, can really serve everyone here. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for coming today.